There is no risk taking anymore. Nobody is taking risks. If you're an artist and you're not trying to think outside the box and you're not kind of jumping off the cliff a little bit, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your shit is all. It's like that's my opinion on this stuff. I could be dead wrong, but from what I've seen, everyone is playing it too safe, and I don't like that. I don't like that. In the world of the arts and creative minds, the most important thing you could ever do is try something new, or just see what happens if you think outside of yourself and you try to have a different approach, different perspective. That's the point of taking risks. I think the reason that I'm so passionate about this in particular is because I consider myself somebody who's only taken risks. Just trying to make a career out of music is a big fucking risk. I was talking about this with a friend of mine recently. If I was a smart person, I would have stopped playing music or stopped trying to make music and being creative a career. I would have stopped trying to do that as a career if, I would have done that 10 years ago. I should have probably done that 10 years ago. Because at this point, I would have probably graduated from college and gotten a job doing something and most likely would have still pursued being a creative person. But yeah, what I mean is, like, if you don't have that lifestyle, if you don't feel like you're taking the jump and taking that plunge into being an artist, then you're not really an artist. To me, at least. I don't believe in settling. I don't believe in playing it safe ever in the arts. That's just the reason I say that a lot, by the way, is just because it's, for me, in my head, I keep talking about music, but this is true for any sort of creative field. I feel like those are the two words I use way too much too, or like art and being creative and music. Those are the three things that I talk about all the time, but they're all very important to me. I think the reason that taking risks is very necessary is because you will never know until you try. You'll never know until you actually give it a shot with just anything. Now, there's a difference between taking risks and being, feeding something that's probably a stupid idea. I think that's why a lot of people why sometimes I wonder if, like, am I taking a risk, or is this just something that's kind of idiotic? That's why the fear of taking risks is more impactful, and why everybody does play it safer, why nobody wants to try something new or try to go outside, because there is such a high chance you could fall flat on your face or just make something that sucks, something that you're not proud of. I took a big risk making my first album ever when I was like 19 or 20 years old, and it kind of sucked. It was not my favorite album that I've ever made. There are a couple songs in there that I really love, but everything else is kind of garbage to me, as far as just didn't turn out the way that I envisioned in my head. Now that I'm releasing an album that does feel exactly how I pictured in my head, or as closest to that as possible. I just see such a difference in that. But I'm very happy that I feel very comforted by the fact that I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't taken that big risk when I was younger and tried to make something that ended up being, less than perfect. And it's all subjective, that's just my perspective of what I've made. I think that if you're never going for things in a big way, if you're never really like trying to push yourself in that way, then the most of what you do will just be boring. That's really, I guess, the worst. That's like the most tragic thing you could be as an artist is being boring. And you shouldn't be that. If you're trying to be an artistic person, or you're trying to do something in any of these fields, you know, you really shouldn't settle for anything less than what lights your heart on fire. Is kind of what I try. That's what I really try to live by. Always like just light up. If you don't feel like you're lighting up, like if you don't feel like you're adding, there's no spark. There's no spark. That, you know, like if I could produce fire right now. If there's no spark, then you're not going to, you're not going to feel anything from it. You know, that's the worst thing is boredom when creating something in entertainment. You know, you're trying to entertain people, you're making something that's supposed to give people an escape, and you don't have that passion for it, you don't have something exciting about it, then it might as well not exist. To me, if you're not giving people a heightened sense of excitement and getting not even escape and getting away from what their lives are, but if you're not, you know, there's a certain acceleration and escalation, I suppose, as well, of what high art is to me. So the stuff that I hold up here, of things that I'm grateful to exist and experience, that's what the things that I try to give my attention to are up here. Anything less than that is just not giving me. It's not giving me as much of a rush. That's accelerated, that exciting feeling, and that's what people want from all of this stuff. I've realized that like anything that gives me the larger than life feeling, or that I'm outside of myself or bigger than my body, whatever. I think that's always the shit that's like, I just don't forget it. There are people that are like unforgettable artists, and people that are really like contributing. It's really, what are you contributing? Without taking risks, you don't know what you can contribute. Without constantly trying to branch outside of whatever you're used to. That's how I look. That's like what taking risks equates to. To me, taking a risk and the process of jumping, just taking that jump, can really lead to a lot of wonderful things. It can lead to so many incredible moments. And that's what you want. You want those incredible moments. There's certain movies where you watch and it's like every single scene, every single line that is spoken feels like it's the most like impactful moment of the movie. Those are my favorite movies, is where every single smidgen of it feels like it's giving me the high that I'm talking about. And really, yeah, you can't get there without trying something different and something new. And that's why I bitch and moan so much about art on here, but so much about like what the state of it is now, is because it's fucking. I talk about this with a friend of mine a lot. He made my music videos for my buddy, my friend Doug. He made my to my music videos for my own page and my music stuff, and he's been a huge impact of like why I am the kind of person I am, is because we both agree so much that like the culture just sucks. The culture sucks, and people are really terrible at doing something as simple as receiving artistic things, like the things in entertainment and media. People don't know how to receive it in a healthy way. They don't know how to be a good audience anymore. And that's why theaters are dying. That's why movies are kind of done, and why, like, I guess concerts are the only thing that people, I think music and concerts will always thrive because it's too much noise and it's too loud for it to really disrupt anybody's experience. You know, there's so much energy from sound and music, and you can, I guess, get that from movies too. But movies are so visual that if somebody's like in the theater being an asshole or distracting you, you can't not, look at it. With music, it's, at a concert or whatever, you can like walk around and you're still going to be in the presence of it. You don't have to worry about missing anything visually too much, I guess. So anyway, what I mean is because people are such terrible audiences now, and people are really total shitbags when it comes to how they receive things. And apparently, I was watching a video a little while back. I forget who it was, what the channel was, but it was a YouTuber talking about how book readers, people that like people, certain people that supposedly are fans of books, like intentionally put down a book if they don't agree with the narrator. They stop reading something if they don't agree with the narrator, if they don't agree with the character's actions. And that just blew my mind so much, as far as like, how are people that are reading books, or people that are into stories, people that are into the characters, and like these things that are, it's supposed to be a reflection of like a wide range of what the human condition is capable of, right? Like that's what like the arts and, what especially like books and certain fictional stories, like all stories, anything based off of nothing, and it's all fiction. It's supposed to it's supposed to give you different perspectives, and supposed to like, make you challenge yourself and make you rethink your own point of view in a lot of ways, or whatever your thought, it's supposed to clash with whatever bias you have. That's the point of opening yourself up to things, is to see what makes sense to you and what doesn't, and be exposed to a lot of things that you really know and can confirm the way you feel and think about things. Like that's what creates a healthy individual mindset, is when you feel confident in your own perspective of things. So, but the only way to feel that way is if you challenge your own perspective of things. So I was just blown away at how there are the people that like look at stories that way. That is like the worst thing you could do as a reader, as an audience member at a show or watching a movie or whatever, is like, as soon as something happens in a story and you're just like, and in the way you're like, well, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't do that. So I don't like this story now. I don't like this narrator because I didn't agree with what they did. That is so stupid. That is so fucking stupid. If you opened yourself up to it and you were trying to read it and you're trying to like let it guide you in that way, and you still don't agree, like if you're open to it and you still don't agree with it, that's one thing. But there are people that have that, they jump the gun and they're just like, oh, this TV show or this movie or this book is going in that direction. Fuck this. I wouldn't do that. That horror movie where that person went up the stairs instead of running out the door, I wouldn't do. So I think that they're a stupid character, and I just hate them, and they're dumb. And that's like how a lot of people look at stories. Of course, horror movies, that's one thing. But of course I get if people don't agree with the character's actions. But that's the point, is why did the writer make it that way? Why did they have that person do those things? Is to challenge you and think like, well, like, put yourself in that character's shoes, and to have an idea of really what that would actually be like. And would you like, if you were actually going through that literally, would you feel the same way? Would you feel, oh, I wouldn't do that? Like, you don't know. You're supposed to. I'm sorry. I'm like a couple of drinks in right now, and that's why I might not sound as on point as I'd like. But what I'm trying to say is, because a lot of studios and executives and people in charge of the money and the record labels and music and all this shit, because a lot of, like, this is obvious, everything I'm saying is pretty obvious, but because all these people are in charge of the money and they're not wanting to invest in anything that is not a guaranteed like 100% win, or a guaranteed like getting their money back, which I get, because a lot of these industries don't really make any money anyway. A lot of basically every single industry is losing to social media. That's the worst part about social media, is it's essentially you could argue that it's killed everything. Like even YouTube, is not really, YouTube had to start doing shorts to compete with Instagram. Like everything has, Instagram and TikTok and Facebook essentially have ruined everything. But that's the reason I say that is because that has affected the way that all these people in charge of the money and the people that are in charge of making artists, certain artists, musicians, and writers and so on, they're the ones that can give those said individuals careers, and they choose not to if they're not seeing the numbers. Myself included, there's a reason all artists and all musicians obsess over numbers. How many followers they have, how many streams are you getting, how much money are you making, how much are you selling if you're selling merchandise. Do you have enough subscribers? Do you have enough people messaging you? Do you have enough engagement? It's not even the followers. It's like, do you have enough people commenting and talking about your stuff on social media or Reddit? Or like, are you being talked about enough? Do people have your attention? Do you have people's attention? Does your work have that much of a pull? That's what the executives are thinking of. And they'll always be thinking of that. They don't give a fuck about you and your like being, I'm true to my art and I'm true. They don't give a fuck about your story. They don't give a fuck about anything other than what they see in the stats. It's all about the statistics. It's all about like the numbers. I swear to fucking God, like nobody gives a shit if you are not famous from a numbers standpoint. And even if you have the numbers, you're still not famous. There are a lot of people that have a lot of numbers that are not famous. So, not as famous as they think they are, at least. Like, no one really... Is anybody actually famous if they're famous on TikTok or if they're famous on Instagram or Facebook or anything? It's like, I know, like, people that are in movies and the highest rankings of music and whatever, as far as, like, what's being talked about the most. That's, like, what... there's, like, GTA 5, and then there's, like, there's that status. That's what, like, we're in at this point. There is you're... Like in music, you're Michael Jackson, Elvis, the Beatles, and in video games, you're GTA 5 or Call of Duty or whatever, so on. And in movies, you're like, there's like the Spielbergs and all that shit, right? So they're like you're like there's like the Tarantino, Spielberg like level of filmmakers now, and then there's everybody else, right? So that's what the industries are. Is you're either like the best and the most famous, or you're fucking nothing. So because like a lot of, people, a lot of the people that are in charge of what, like making that a possibility, because they're so focused on the numbers and all that shit, people are getting whatever they get and not seeing the people that they would actually like to see. When you look at like how many musicians and bands were, specifically in music, that's just like when I'm talking about this, I know so much about this in specifically the music industry because of how much I've worked at it for a while and how much I've watched about it and stories I've heard about it. Music used to be if you could write decent songs, they would want to give you money. It's like, did the music resonate with them or not, based off of like a simple demo. That sense of gatekeeping, even though there are a lot of like stories and a lot of problems with producers taking too much of the money. That's the worst part of that is like, while there was a lot of stuff being made, the people that actually made it didn't make the most money. It was the production companies that did. While I don't agree with that either, it's just there's got to be a middle ground, right? There's got to be a place where like the creatives and the people supplying the money can meet in the middle, and then it's just creating something good that the audience likes. And that's it. It's so simple. It is so fucking simple, actually. Like, it's so straightforward. People want good shit, and they want plenty of it. They want like a lot of quality stuff, but because quality is so like limited, like it's so rare nowadays, because no one cares about quality. And the reason nobody cares about quality is because people aren't good audiences, and they put their attention towards the crap. All those shitty ass series that you see on Netflix when you're scrolling through Netflix, or any of these streaming platforms, any of these platforms, when you scroll by that show, oh my God, that looks terrible. There are like millions of people that click on it immediately. Anything that you think immediately, oh, that looks like a bunch of crap. There are people like, hey, I like crap, and they click on it. My dad being one of them. My dad watches a lot of crap. And he's somebody that likes stories, and I don't understand why he watches so much crap instead of like watching foreign films or stuff that like has like some actual artistic, and I'm not saying that like he likes art, like that his taste is any worse than mine. I just mean like I'm surprised that someone who supposedly like stories and movies is wanting to watch a bunch of garbage, Well, I'm right there with everybody where like good garbage is good. I think that's that's not really the case a lot of times. A lot of Tubi movies and shows are not going to be that good. Like even if people are trying to make something and they're like, oh yeah, we know this is going to be bad. It's still like bad, like really boring bad, right? I agree completely with Moist Critical when he says, there's fun bad and boring bad, and I agree. Like 1,000% with him. And like you and I would have could have a total extensive conversation about the difference of that, because I can tell the difference. The Room is excessively fun bad, and then there's everything else. Like there's a lot of bullshit. But anyway, I find it amazing that a lot of audiences will watch that bullshit. That Emily in Paris show on fucking Netflix, for example. Like I would never watch that. I would literally rather die. I would rather die than watch that shit. Because that just looks like it's going to waste my fucking time. It looks like some garbage that somebody made because they knew somebody would throw it on in the background. A lot of people are making background. There literally is a fucking category on Netflix, supposedly. I don't go on Netflix anymore because I fucking hate it and I hate what it's done to everything. Netflix and YouTube have like ruined everything because of its excessive, just the excess of all of it, and trying to monopolize these things is ruined all of it. Netflix literally has a category called second screen viewing, apparently. And that's because people are not even like watching the thing. They're just throwing shit on in the background. And you see people making fun of this where they have like 16 screens and they're like fucking maxing or whatever the fuck people call it, like screen maxing and shit. It's like, it's insane. A lot of people do that. I feel overwhelmed with two. There are times where I'm like watching something on YouTube and I find myself going on my phone and I'm like, wait, I missed the thing. Like I do it. I do like where I'm like watching. Now I'm talking about that's like late at night when I'm ready to go to bed. I'm just kind of like drifting and not even really sure what I'm doing anyway because I'm like half asleep. But there's definitely background viewing or whatever. But I think it's insane how there's such a lack of risks being taken that means that nothing interesting is being made, that people are consuming an excessive amount, like a multitude and literally multiple screens of mid entertainment. That's where I've that's what I've realized with all this stuff is it's like everyone's absorbing a bunch of garbage to feel like it's filling, but you're really just consuming a bunch of you're getting all these micro doses of stuff that's not fulfilling in the first place, that like, as opposed to like when I watch a good movie, like if I watch like Good Will Hunting, one of my favorite movies of all time and are honestly like probably the best dialogue driven movie ever. Like that is like the movie I wish that I made. And I don't know if any other movie that's like dialogue driven can compete with it, because it's literally perfect, that movie. And when I watch that, every single time I watch it, I feel so much from it. And I'm so sick of trying to convince myself that I feel things from things that I don't. I literally feel nothing from them. People try to show me videos on their phone or try to show me bullshit on social media. People send me shit on social media and whatever. Show me songs. People love to show me things, and a lot of it is fucking garbage. Like I hate a lot of it. And I just am polite and just pretend that I'm interested in it. But I'm really not. A lot of it is actually fucking garbage. And I hate it. And I guess the only time I really give a shit about what people are sending me on social media is when I'm browsing social media and I'm getting bored from scrolling endlessly. And I'm just like, well, maybe I should finally check on what that person sent me. Those 4 reels that person sent me. So that's like my approach to all this shit is it's like, it's just not fulfilling enough. And the culture sucks. A lot of you suck. You could dislike this video. People dislike my videos, and a lot of time I honestly get a lot of dislikes because it's like people just don't agree with me, or they just, will think I'm like a dickhead. And that's true. But, I'm right in everything that I'm saying. I'm actually correct as far as having a desire to want more quality movies and television shows and even YouTube videos. Even like, I would love it if social media wasn't ridden with such an excessive amount of shit. There's just too much. Too much. You all post way too much. And I post on this channel daily. So I am not even, I don't want to say that I'm part of the problem, because I honestly think even what I post daily is significantly more interesting than a lot of the shit that I see online. That's just because I'm in it. I think anything I do is interesting because I'm my biggest fan. I'm my biggest fan for sure. But I honestly think that, there's so much fucking garbage out there. And I feel like a lot of it is from a lack of risk taking and a lack of trying harder. I want to see people trying harder. I don't want to see Final Destination getting another movie. I don't want to see anything that is done get a fucking remake or reboot because these stupid dickheads in Hollywood that are like apparently a bunch of monsters, bunch of disgusting fucking people. All of these industries are just filled with such monstrous people too. If I ever made it, I feel like I would have to constantly make things on my own, because I wouldn't want to work with any of these fucking people. I don't respect this industry, any of these industries. I think the music industry is garbage. I think the fucking film and TV industries are like, staying afloat because of like whatever literally like the handful of like maybe a few TV shows a year, maybe 2 or 3 TV shows and movies every year are like actually really good. And there's like what gets nominated for the Academy Awards and the Emmys and all, like that's all like picking from the least bad. I don't even look at the Academy Awards as the best of the best anymore. It used to be like the best of the best because there were a lot of good movies coming out at one point every single year. But now it's, all right, what's actually not bullshit? And so all these industries are a joke. All these actors, all these musicians and directors and producers and executives and people that have the money and everybody that's running all of this shit, they're all a big fucking joke. And I can't stand all of it. I fucking hate all of it. And I don't respect any of you. I don't respect any of you people. I don't respect a lot of musicians that just like post themselves every single fucking day thinking anybody gives a fuck about their stupid little show that they're playing in their fucking little town and their stupid little fucking pictures and their videos that they're taking. Like, nobody gives a fuck about anything anymore. Can't you see that? Do you people not see that nobody cares anymore? Do you not see that? Do you not see that literally nobody gives a fuck about anything that you're doing? And I'm not saying you should give up. I'm saying you have to be more interesting if you want people to give a fuck about what you're doing. And that's where I get really frustrated. I'm sick of like nobody caring. I'm sick of like just like literally people performatively eat food on the internet and get more. They're more popular than anything you or I have made. People eating food. It's disgusting. It's as disgusting as those videos of people eating. I hate watch every single one of them. I thought I was watching it out of I thought I was like fetishizing food. I'm not going to lie. Like I wonder if that's why I'm watching this. But most of the time I'm watching it, I'm like, you're a bunch of fucking disgusting pigs. And I hate them. I hate every single one of them. And that's like, that alone, those social media, those little like fucking shorts on social media of people fetishizing food or other things, all sorts of fucking things that are fetishized online. That's what is absolutely dominating everything is pornography and OnlyFans, food, and then there's everything else. That's what I've seen basically. And I'm really disgusted by it. I'm really annoyed by it. I fucking hate it. And again, I don't respect any of these people. So yeah, This is why not taking risks is a really awful thing, is because then you get the same fucking shit over and over again. You get the same stuff over and over and over again. You're just going to get the same types of videos on the internet forever, instead of watching, you know, different types of movies and TV shows and stories that might actually, you know, feel more than that. I'm just wanting more, I guess is what I mean. People are not giving enough. All of these industries, they're not giving enough. And I don't really like it at all. And of course, there are always going to be things of high quality and legitimate, like, artistic integrity, like that. Those things will always. I still have to watch it, but, like, of course, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson is still doing his thing with one battle after another. Like, there are still people coming out with really incredible pieces of work, but it's like, that's it. There's like the one, or like the two. Like I said, that's like one of the 2 or 3 movies last year that was like that. And I heard about Sinners, was very popular, and that's it. That's 2 movies. Hamnet, I guess, was like the 3rd that I actually like heard about. You know, and there's more than that, but they're not. The fact that they're not talked about enough and that I can't even think of them now is the problem. The fact that they're not talked about enough. You know what people are talking about? All the news, all the criminals. Of course, like, what's going on in the world is a big part of this stuff too, I guess. And people are just too. But if anything, that's what people need this shit more than ever. People need funny movies and shit that makes them forget about how much they fucking hate everything. I hate so much about this world, and I hate so much about being a part. I hate being a part of this society very much. But I'm so grateful that a lot of amazing writers and interesting minds have given me so much to love about life. Through all of my favorite movies, shows, and musicians and songwriters, I have experienced so many different things in my life, and I've experienced so many incredible emotions and just a large spectrum of ideas and certain things like that just tickle my brain in the most amazing way ever. And I'm addicted to that. I guess what this comes down to. I'm addicted to that, and I want more of that. I feel like a heroin addict that is, like, you know, gotten some like bullshit, like, you know, opioid alternative or whatever. It's like the worst reference to make, but you know what I mean? It's like I feel like I'm somebody that wants the real thing, and someone's giving me some like bullshit diet soda version. That's what the world feels like. The world feels like diet soda when we really need that unnecessary amount of sugar and caffeine. That's how a lot of things feel to me now, and I'm fucking sick of it. So I hope the amount of times I curse in this doesn't get me age restricted, but yeah, I think a lot of shit sucks.